Welcome back, everybody. Today we will be talking about 4 of my favorite multi-tools. Let's get into it. First off, let's start with the funkiest looking one of the bunch, which is the Leatherman Skeleton. This is Leatherman's smallest large multi-tool. Before the next size smaller would be like the keychain size. This is like a full-size multi-tool here. You open it up. We've got decent sized plier heads, wire cutters, needle nose, you name it. Kind of a janky pocket clip, but not everything has a good pocket clip nowadays. That's just kind of part of the EDC community deal here. We've got an interestingly curved blade. I like it. It's growing on me. I would prefer it to be a plain edge rather than combo, but that's just personal preference. There's only 3 tools on this thing. They probably list off more, but 3 main tools here. We have the knife blade, one-handed opening, locking with a liner lock. We have screwdriver, which takes their flat bits, Leatherman's specific flat bits. They lock in there. You push this little guy down to unlock the blade, unlock the bit to get it out. And we have pliers. It's a very minimalist tool that gets a lot done. This tool, if all you need is pliers, knife, and a screwdriver, is perfect. Now, if you buy this straight off of Leatherman, it comes with 2 bits. One is 2 Phillips, and one is 2 flats. I have the bit from my curl, which you'll see here in just a moment, filling in this. This is an awesome little tool. I have grown to really like this. For as funky as it looks, it functions better than it's funky. That should be a catchphrase there for Leatherman. It functions better than its funk. I don't know. Come up with something there. There's something in there somewhere that sounds good. But it's all very slim, compact, easy. We have a carabiner clip here, which doubles as a cap lifter. Get it under a cap and right off. Hey, if you've been looking at a Skeleton, I would highly recommend getting a Skeleton. This guy is absolutely freaking phenomenal. Now, on to the next tool. We have the Leatherman Curl. This is basically the Leatherman Wave minus 2 outside tools and swaps the small eyeglass screwdriver out for an awl. Go check out Zach EDC's, Zach in the Wild's newest video, Keep It or Yeet It. Multi-tool awls. Great video. Go check them out. But we have plier heads. Now let's compare those to the Skeleton here. These pliers are definitely bigger, more needle nosy, whereas these are a little bit smaller and a little bit more function driven rather than trying to do everything. This is like more specific use. This is more trying to be generally everything. But we have non-replaceable wire cutters, as on the Skeleton. Non-replaceable wire cutters, pliers, needle nose pliers, and a quote-unquote crimper down here just below the head, which I have used and it works. The outside tools, we have a nice knife blade, nice smooth edge, looks almost exactly like the Wave's edge. This is basically the Wave, just with a few things taken out. Compare that to this, you've definitely got a little bit more blade here. Liner lock as well. We have their full-on file, very nice file. Edge file, cross-cut wood metal file, focus, there we go. And the diamond file, which I basically just use for sharpening my knives. On the inside, we go in, we dig them all out. We have the scissors, which are very good scissors. I do not think they beat Victorinox scissors, but these are very, very good scissors. You cannot go wrong if you've got one of these. We have a flathead and an awl. And the flathead I am planning on grinding down to make a chisel. That should be something that'll be a fun. I'll do a video on that later on, showing the after of that. We have can opener and wire stripper. Wire stripper works very well. Can opener works very well. This is one thing that I think Leatherman beats Victorinox on, and that is the can opener. This is a great can opener. Do not get me wrong. This thing breezes through cans. You put it in and you try to work your way around that way. I prefer to go backwards so you get leverage working for you. But this is a pull backwards can opener, and that thing is freaking phenomenal. On the inside, beside that, we have the bit holder. A little harder to dig out without a bit in it. Let's show you how that works there. Take that out. Right in. No lock on this bit holder. Just a kind of a spring retention. And that is a fantastic. The curl is fantastic as it is. Excuse me, got a burp coming up. But I think if you're wanting lighter than the Leatherman Wave, go Skeleton. This is a great tool. If this is exactly what you need, go for it. But if you're not wanting to buy the Surge or the Wave or the Free series because they're too big, too heavy, this is not that much lighter than those tools. I would suggest that you go with this. Because this other little tools like the scissors and things, you probably don't want to have that particular setup. You'd probably rather have Swiss Army knife scissors or something with you. And so, I don't know. You carry what you want to carry. It's your pockets. I prefer, between the two, I prefer to have the Skeleton over the Curl. I just think it works a little better. I think it's better thought out. I think it functions better. This is basically just the Wave, minus a few things. What is nice is that if you hold the tool like this, pocket clip side, you don't get that wave pinch. Because all of you Wave owners have known that when you hold the tool like that and it slips, you pinch the meat of your hand right there, and that hurts like nothing. You don't get that with this. So, great tool, better tool. Let's move on to the next tool. Next up, we have Gerber Center Drive. Fantastic one-hand themed operating tool. Pliers are one-handed. They lock out. They will not go back in until you depress that button and slide them in. Big old knife blade. Big old screwdriver that runs down the center line of the multi-tool, hence its name. And what that does is that allows you to put that on something and you can turn it like a normal screwdriver without that shimmying of the tool being all whopper jaw, because like that is like you're going to be wobbling all over the place, which if you're going to be doing a lot of screwing, that may not be the best for you. This is right down the middle, and it's just awesome. Like when this came out 2 years ago, this thing was off the charts fantastic. There's room for another 1/4 inch bit in here. It comes with 2 bits, a Phillips and a flat. But I have since cannibalized those for other tools. We have a file. We have like a cross-cut wood file. Then we have a diagonal cut metal file. Great tool. We have cat's paw, cap lifter, and pry bar. Focus. Focus. There we go. This is a good tool. Nothing wrong with it. It's a little funky looking, but it's great. One of the better alls from multi-tools, just good and sharp. You know, good pokey, good scrapey. Next up, we have the world's worst. If I can get my finger on the right side of the blade where the choil is, we have the world's worst serrated blade. I have had to touch this up with a rat tail file to get it to even work. This sucker was so bad. Gerber, just swap that out for scissors or some other tool. This thing sucks. I'm sorry, but that just sucks. But if you're wanting a knife, pliers, and screwdriver, this tool for $80, $90, this thing is fantastic. Replaceable, rotatable carbide cutters. You know, your normal plier head, your normal needle nose. And What I don't like is that you squeeze down as tight as you can. There's still a bit of a gap here at the tip. Focus. It's just not fine enough. And now people say you pop out the bit holder and you can tighten it down. Yes, you can, but I should not have to pop that out in order to use the pliers the way they are supposed to be used. That doesn't work right. There are some design flaws with this tool. You can kind of, if you get the right grip, I'm here in a small space here. Ha! No. Hiya! There we go. You can snap out the pliers all one-handed, or you can just slowly slide them out like that. Very great tool. I do recommend it. This is a good tool. For the price, you're getting a lot of functionality. It is worth the money. Now, on to the next tool that I think is the best tool. Now, a lot of these you can get accoutrements like bit kits, extenders, and stuff. We're not talking about all the extra bits, all the extra knickknacks. We're just talking about just the straight up multi-tool, because this comes with a great selection of additional pieces. We're just reviewing just the multi-tool. This is my favorite multi-tool that I've ever had, and I've had several. I've had a wave, I've had a rebar, I've had a couple of Ozark trails for beginner multi-tools. That was my first full-on fledged multi-tool, was an Ozark trail. It was good. This is like my second up multi-tool. Then I got a wave, then I got a rebar. Had carried the rebar for a long time, and then finally just moved on to other things. This tool, comparing it to the other plier heads here, head size count here, come on. It's definitely one of the chunkier heads. This is designed also for reaming the inside of pipes. If you're at a construction site and you just hacksawed through a pipe, you can ream and round that edge over with this tool. Nice, also spring-loaded. None of the others are spring-loaded. Excuse me, got the burps. But this is definitely the chunkiest, least needle-nosy pliers of the entire tool series, and also like the longest handle out of all the tools. And I don't know if you can see that there off to the side. So you get a lot of leverage, you get a lot of power. Kind of a short wire cutting head, but that's fine. Big plier, normal pliers, and then kind of your needle nose pliers. Like, this thing is absolutely nice. Also, the head here, I don't know if you can see that, tapers up, whereas these other tools tend to go flat on. With this tapering up, you can really poke into something and pinch and pull. Like if you're removing staples from wood, you can just kind of like set that around the staple, give it a little push, get it down and into the wood, and pull the staple out. Like, this thing is the king of the pliers here. When it comes to plier heads and functionality that it provides, Victorinox Swiss tool is where it's at. I will go over all the tools again when I'm done with this, so bear with me. First up, we have Victorinox scissors. Best scissors in the multiverse, as far as I'm considered. And awl. Great awl. Love this awl. Scratch up. I have used this sucker. It's great. It goes right through leather. I do a lot of leather crafting as a hobby, and that just goes right through. We have a full file with a angle grind here, a cross grind here, and an edge file here. And that edge file could saw through handcuffs probably. I don't know. That thing is good. Next up, we have a small flathead driver. Fantastic. Almost as good as the awl for poking through things. I like to pop out the scissors or the file to get to the Phillips. It just makes it a little bit easier. Great number 1, number 2 combo Phillips, like it can do both size screws. Good reach. It's narrow, it's long, it's very good. I usually like to have a bit kit system with my multi-tools, but for a straight multi-tool that has everything in it, this thing is just, it's fantastic. I'm so glad I got this. I have no regrets getting this. Yes, it's $180. Yes, you will love it. No, you will not regret getting it. Next up that I like is the big old pry bar head. That thing is absolutely massive. It's great for doing all sorts of flathead screws. All these tools will lock out you take these little gritty, what I'm going to call tortoise shells, because they kind of look like a tortoise shell sitting there. You pull it down, and you can unlock the blade and close it. Next up, we have the knife blade. Bigger knife blade than a Swiss Army knife. If you're looking at that and you're like, is that bigger than a Swiss Army knife? I can't tell. Well, here it is a 91 millimeter sack. This is the common size that you will see for a Swiss Army knife. And that is a bigger blade. More sharpened edge. It is also thicker than a normal sack, so it's going to be a very strong blade for your daily use. One-handed closing on pretty much everything if you get the hang of it. My favorite tool, the chisel. Focus. There we go. I've used this sucker a lot. I'm slowly laying the edge back each time I sharpen it, so I'll get a little bit sharper chisel. It's more of a scraper than a chisel. That thing is awesome. 2 wire strippers, cable strippers, yada yada. Next up, we have flathead and bottle lifter and like electrical wire stripper for like electronics. Great tool. I love it. Next up, what would Victorinox be without its can opener? Great tool. Plus the flathead Phillips combo there. Awesome piece. It works. And then we have the last tool here, the saw. Best saw out of the multi-tools too, in my opinion. Because the way they make it, it's just so good. Victorinox, everything they do is so good. And then the opening and closing of the tools, you just feel the click, the refinement. And everything is on its own back spring here. So like none of the tools bunch together when you open it up. If the camera will decide to focus, there we go. That, like, everything is on its own tool system. Whereas here on the Leatherman, you try to pull out one, with the exception of like the scissors because they're so long. Like, you try to pull out one tool, you end up pulling out all of the tools, and you have to fan it out. Whereas here, you just pick the tool you want, and you go. And there's no fanning out, no sticking, and it's just there when you need it. This, to me, is the king of multi-tools. If you're going to buy one multi-tool and call it done, get the Victorinox. It is the best. I have not had a better multi-tool than the Victorinox Swiss Champ. Final wrap-up. We have the Leatherman Curl, which is a wave knockoff. I'm sorry about the glare, guys. That's just kind of what we're stuck with here. We have the Leatherman Skeleton. This is a great tool. There's a selection of Skeletools. There's one with like a full serrated blade. There's a plain edge. The plain edge comes in better grade steel. Check those out. Gerber Center Drive. Fantastic tool. I love it. And then the Victorinox Swiss Tool X. X for scissors. Snip, snip. All of these tools I have used heavy. These things have been out, just been pinched. That happens. No biggie. Oh well. I have used all these tools. This one probably the most. The Swiss tool. And they all stand up well. They hold up well. They function well. But ranked from favorite to least favorite would be this order right here. If you want a one-and-done multi-tool, go Swiss Tool X. It has so many tools inside. It is well refined. It's phenomenal. There's also a smaller version of this that Victorinox sells called the Swiss Tool Spirit. I would highly recommend that one. That looks awesome. I would recommend Skeleton if you're wanting minimalist. You just want a knife blade that you can cut boxes with. You want a screwdriver that has a few bits. And yes, you can buy extra bits from Leatherman. Swap out what you need. Plier head, wire cutter. This thing is fantastic. I would recommend this to anyone. I would recommend pouch carry because that pocket clip is kind of loose. But that's just how all Skeletools are. Next up, if you like the wave but you think it's a little much, go with the curl. This is a great tool. I love it. It does work, but I prefer this a little bit more. Also, these are not quite as refined as this. Everything on this just works smoother. These are a little bit more rough, but very durable. They are not junky. They are rough and rugged and durable. This is durable, but it's refined and durable. It's kind of a fine line there. And this is just kind of your sloppy tool. It's not bad sloppy, but it's sloppy. And I would recommend this to anyone who wants a multi-tool. I stand behind it. It works. I like it. I used it. But if you want a different multi-tool, I would recommend one of these first. If you want, and we're talking full-size multi-tools. We're not talking about keychain tools or smaller pocket tools. We're talking full-size, plier-based multi-tools. And I think if you don't have a lot of money, coming in at $80, go with a Skeleton. I know some of you, $80 is a lot, but this will last a long time. You pay $80, excuse me, you will have this for a long time and it will pay for itself. I don't think you will regret having this. It just fits in the hand so good. They have like a little choil there that your index finger can lock into. Your thumb sits on the back of the blade real easy. It's just a good multi-tool. I highly recommend that one. But if you're wanting a one and done, or you're never one and done in the EDC community, you're going to be buying a lot. But if you want a multi-tool that you want to have with you for years and work for you for years, go Swiss Tool X. This refined, smooth beast of a multi-tool, to me, is the king of multi-tools. I have seen the Surge, and I think this tops the Surge. The only way that the Surge could beat this is if you are die-hard, must-have interchangeable bit systems. If that is the case, then go with the Surge, because it does have interchangeable bits. But if you don't mind carrying a little extra, this comes with a bit kit, and it comes with a very, very good ratchet. And now here is where this comes out on top, just another step. I know I said I wouldn't talk about accoutrements, but we're talking about accoutrements. With this, how many times do you go up to something and you're trying to tighten one side and the other side of the bolt is spinning because you don't have anything else to grab onto? You can either grab the nut head or grab the nut and then try to screw the screw head. Like, you can't do both with one tool because this thing doesn't split in half. You can either do the screws from the bit kit on one side, or you do the nut. You cannot do both sides. Whereas with this tool, if you buy the bigger pack that comes with the bit kit, you now have the ability to hold on to the nut on one side and screw with the other. There's an extension that comes with this. Just so you know, you get like this whole set here. And you could screw on one side and hold the nut with the other. Like, come on. And for about the same price. Like, the Leatherman Surge is like $130 for $180, $30 more. You get this and the ability to work on nuts without having to get extra tools out of the toolbox. Like, you've got everything there inside the leather pouch, which I would show you, but it's on my belt. So that is why I think this trumps all other multi-tools, because the ratchet that comes with it is so good that you cannot go wrong having that with you. But if you're just wanting just a multi-tool, again, I reiterate, Swiss Tool X. Can't go wrong. Thank you for listening to me rant. I hope you found some of this information useful, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.